Okay, I'm going to demonstrate two-color stockinette brioche in the round. And I've had a lot of comments on the blog and requests for additional information about how to do the transition at the end of the row when switching colors, because that one yarn over always seems to be a bit fiddly and it gives people a lot of trouble, and I have to admit it did me too. I'm going to use a trick in Nancy Martian's book about how to avoid twisting the yarns at the end of the round and managing them when you come to that transition there. So I've got just a few more stitches here to get at the end of the round. I'm using magic loop technique, but I don't think it'll matter at all for what you're doing. I'm also knitting continental, but again, I don't think it matters at all for this technique, which way you hold the hand, right-handed or left-handed. So I'm going to just go ahead and bark my stitch like a normal, bring the yarn to the front, slip one, yarn over, ready to bark my next stitch, bark two together, bark two together, and now I've got my last stitch here on the needle. This needs to be a slip stitch with the yarn over, so I'm going to bring my black yarn forward, slip my off-white contrast color stitch over to the right needle, and if you notice, I've got my black yarn now going to the back. I need to bring it to the front underneath that needle. So I'm just going to bring it to the front, and I kind of turn my knitting as I do that. That contrast color yarn is now wrapped around to the front of the needle. I'm going to snug up on my contrast color stitch there, and I snug up always while I'm on the needle, not after I pull the cable through, because if you pull and snug up on that cable, like I'm going to do right here, that makes your contrast color stitch too tight there. So do your snugging up while it's on the needle. Snug up there. The black is going to stay to the front. The off-white is going to stay to the back here. Now I'm going to switch my needles as if, because I'm doing my magic loop technique, I'm just going to switch that one back, pull the back needle forward, and now I'm ready to knit my next round using my off-white color. So I'm going to slip this one first, so bring it to the front, slip, bark two together, yarn forward, slip one, yarn over, bark two together, per normal. So I'm just going to keep going around there, and I'll catch up to you in a moment. Okay, I've gone almost all the way around with my off-white color yarn now. Got a few stitches left on my needle so I can show you how to finish the round with the second color. So here I've got to do a yarn forward, slip one, yarn over, bark two together, yarn forward, slip one, yarn over, and now the last one is going to be a bark two together, and this is where it gets a little tricky because you can see my black thread, black yarn there is just kind of hanging there. It's forward of my stitch, but it's not really anchored to anything, but that's okay. It's going to get anchored right now. So all I'm going to do is just knit those two together. It's a little fiddly, but you can do it. Just going to knit those two together. The black yarn again is staying on top of my needle just like the off-white thread is. I'm knitting them together, and now there's the contrast. The black yarn is sitting in the back as if I had knit it together with, and I did, I knit it together with the stitch, and there's my stitch. Now again, just to keep things set straight, I'm going to leave my black in the front, contrast yarn in the back of my work, turn, and now I'm ready to start knitting again with the black yarn in this case, sitting there right there for me. Again, I snug up while it's on the needle so that I don't pull too tight, and now I'm going to start knitting the next round with the black yarn. Bark two together, yarn over, slip, yarn forward, slip one, yarn over, bark two together, yarn over, slip one, bark two together, yarn forward, slip one, yarn over, bark two together, all the way around the round, just like normal stockinette brioche. This pattern, by the way, is the hand shoes from Nancy Martian's book, and it makes a really delightful fingerless mitt here.